Hi there, this is Nick broadcasting to you again on the Get Me Off Grid video blog. This is of course a fundraising blog which I'm using to help me raise funds so I can go completely and utterly off grid. The donation link is in the information box below. But it's also much more than that. It's already become an information product for a lot of people, a free of charge information product, so that you can find out about solar ovens, you can find out about wood gas stoves, and of course a few other ideas, and even using something like a solar oven as a food dehydrator for long-term storage of food. But what I don't want to do is just to keep this particular blog focused on one or two solutions. There are a few blogs out there which do seem to have just one or two particular ideas, and they present them to the rest of the world as if they're the only way of saving the whole of humanity would be through these one or two solutions. Well, I don't really want to do that. Our energy needs are very diverse, our food needs are diverse, our water needs are very diverse, and as a result of that we need to have a wide variety of different forms of solutions to be able to help us out. Now it does make me think though that when I do the washing up in this particular season, spring, in the year of 2011, okay, 21st century, when I turn on the tap, that sets off some kind of mechanical reaction which then gets the boiler firing up to provide me with hot water. So in the spring, when the temperature is actually hot enough for me to not need to have the heating on, and we've had blazing sunshine all day, I am still currently reliant upon the grid for water for my washing up, which is of course really rather peculiar. Now I am trying to live the life to a certain degree. The hot water that went into making this particular cup of tea, that came from wood gas technology, which is not only carbon neutral but actually carbon negative, because the remaining carbon pellets which are left over after you've been using wood pellets, you can actually sequester that back into the environment through adding it to your soil and compost. I've planted out some carrot seeds, and I've used some of those little carbon pellets to go into the soil to provide extra air and provide little places where all the good healthy bacteria can grow, thus making the soil much more fertile. It's called using biochar. It's probably something you need to Google a little more about. But that turns a combustion reaction into a carbon negative one. Something to bear in mind. But at the moment, because of the orientation of the property, it's very difficult for me to try and get all forms of solar energy sorted out for this particular building. But never mind, I do still have a few plans for a few smaller solar projects which I will be showing you with the passage of time, so stay subscribed. There's going to be some great ideas coming along for you. But also what I wanted to do today is to point you in the direction of a few blogs which are linked down below. These particular blogs highlight that it is possible to be able to create, even for weather like you might have in Northern Europe, or indeed some of the grey or more cloudy parts of the world, solar energy for water heating, also for space heating, at basically a very low cost. Some of the devices are actually made from rubbish. There's one particular invention which is made from soda bottles and drinks cans, and that's what the inventor felt was the best way of generating the solar collection. So even if you're on a small budget, if you've got a suitable property, you can actually create something for a very low cost indeed. Also think about personal hygiene. No, I'm not trying to tell you that you should go and wash. What I am doing is telling you about another blog which I've linked down below, which is about solar showering and how much water you actually need to have a shower. And 5 gallons, as it turns out, is more than enough for a couple of people. So have a read of that, and then of course you can tell me what you think there. We have to think about the way we're using water, we have to think about the way we're heating water, and the conditions under which we're doing all these things. This dream of mine, of me going completely and utterly off-grid and helping other people to do the same, I believe will become a reality. And you can help it too. We are in the conditions of mass extinction of species. We are in the conditions of approaching peak oil. These things are real. And yes, there are some nations which are going to war with other nations, allegedly, for the purposes of gaining more oil. When essentially, we should be thinking about how best we can use the resources that we've currently got. Today the sun is shining. You can see it streaming in from my window and bouncing off my kitchen onto the ceiling behind me. That's energy. Raw energy. Obviously I'm using a lot of that for lighting. I haven't got the lights turned on, I don't need to. I can save on the power there. But that could also be for my hot water, for my bathing, for my shaving. It could also be there to provide some hot water so I don't have to raise the temperature of the water in the kettle quite so much when I'm making a cup of tea if I chose to use an electric kettle. There's ways and means of doing things, and my main message to you is that we can do some of this cheaply, but we have to be public about doing it. My donation link is below, and I want to make this dream a reality, and I can do it with your help. God bless everybody.